All right, mics are on, guys.
Potentially.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said. What do you? No, this one. I said.
All right, it's 7:02. We started closed session at 5:30. We're a couple minutes late. I apologize. Closed session ran a bit long. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon.
Here.
Marino.
Here.
Matro.
Here.
R. Rodeo.
Here.
S. Rodeo.
Here.
Scipione.
Here.
Mayor Fragioni.
Here.
Present also Mike Malinsky, Town Solicitor. Rich Raymond of ARH. Notice of this meeting has been posted and given to official newspapers. Please familiarize yourself with the fire exits to the right and rear of council chambers. Please do not proceed beyond the front benches without an invitation from the mayor to do so. Also, each person who wishes to address council will be allowed 5 minutes.
All rise for the pledge, please. All right, this is the first of 2 opportunities for the public to be heard on action items only. We'll have a second portion at the end of the meeting. Would anyone like to be heard on action items this evening? Seeing no one, I'll accept the motion.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we'll do a second motion for approval of minutes, regular minutes, July 27th, executive minutes, July 27th.
Motion?
R. Rodeo,
Second.
Calderon, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're going to do 2 presentations. The first presentation will be from the Puerto Rican Civic Association. If you guys like to come up and discuss, festivities start Sunday.
Good evening, Mayor Ferguson.
Close enough.
Steve,
That's perfect.
Deputy Mayor San Rodeo,
Thank you.
members of council, guests, news media, and the town of Hammonton who's seeing us today with, of course, our local network. I'm here today. I have my wife at the floor, a colleague as well, Lillian Pagan, who's a member of ours, of the Puerto Rican Civic Association. We would like to invite you all for our 67th year celebration in conjunction and at the same time the conclusion of the 250-year celebration of America. We have decided to try to join that together. It's a great celebration, celebrate America, and also celebrate the culture that America has brought in the idea of our migrant people from every part of the world, we may say. We would like to have you come and share with us the culture, the food, the music, the good stuff that people bring together. Music, right? Culture, and food, especially food. We have learned that, I've learned that a lot through the neighbors of the Italian community. So we also have a little bit of that cuisine on our end of the Caribbeans.
Yeah, you do.
This summer approach was this ending of finalizing a nice season. It was a hot one. It was very difficult, but we've gone through with it very well, I understand. Again, we will start the 30th of August. We start with the flag raising here at Town Hall, 1 o'clock. We continue to our club, 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the evening. Then we will continue September 4, 5, 6 with the same programs of 12 o'clock, lunch, all the way through to 10:30. So our hall will be open, again, 4, 5, 6 of September with those business hours, if we may say. We got live bands, we have DJs, and this year we're trying to incorporate a little bit of the American blending in with the culture. No more to say. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and we would love to have you come and join us and celebrate part of the Caribbean, especially the Puerto Rican cuisine and culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our second presentation is from Paramount Development. This is a potential development on the White Horse Pike.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is Cheryl Lynn Walters. I'm a partner at the law firm of Nemad Davis and Goldstein. We are counsel for Paramount Newco Realty LLC and their affiliated special purpose entity for purposes of potential redevelopment here in Hammonton called Hammonton 30 Developers LLC. We initiated a conversation with the governing body in its former iteration a little over a year and a half ago about the potential redevelopment for the properties designated as Block 4604, lots 15, 16, 21, 22, 26, 27, and 28, generally located along the empty stretch of non-development on the White Horse Pike, essentially between Broadway and Brand Jewelers, that general area. We provided a presentation to the prior iteration of governing body on April 28th of 2025 with some conceptual plans that included mixed use commercial retail in the front of the property and proposed residential development behind that in the rear. The property is split zone. The highway frontage is your Gateway 2 regional zoning district. The back is currently R3. So the project, as my client will go through with you a little later, has seen multiple iterations. We've had various communications. We've had an informal with your land use board a while back. We've had communications with your public works department regarding water, sewer, what's available, what the capacity is. And we feel like we've modified the plan over time in conjunction and in response to those conversations to something that we believe is going to bring not just a great commercial rateable to the town, but also help you satisfy your fourth round affordable housing obligation. I'm going to defer basically to my project team to explain everything to you. I have a handout packet for you. Most of what you're going to see on the board is in the handout packet. There's an agenda at the front of it that outlines who's going to be giving you information this evening, what they're going to be talking about, and copies of what you're going to see on the board here, plus some visuals of the proposed residential development. So if I could take a minute while my engineer sets up, I'll hand those out. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if you need them all. I had some extras, so. So this not being a land use board hearing, but instead a council presentation, I assume you're not swearing witnesses in, although we're happy to do that. But standing to my immediate left is Mr. Matt Sharrow. Matt is a project engineer from Dynamic Engineering. His office has prepared all the different iterations, the concept plans that we've shared back and forth over time that's led to the current proposed plan of development. So I'm going to let Matt explain to you. We've got several exhibits. The first after the agenda, the first document in your packet should be 4 documents. It starts with an overall rendering, then a focus on the commercial, a focus on the residential, and then the 4th sheet of that's folded in is a rendering of the roadway improvements that we've had discussions with DOT about. We have a traffic engineer that will explain that to you as well. So I'm going to let Matt take over, and I'll be here to help guide and answer any questions along the way.
Thank you very much. Again, Matt Sharrow from Dynamic Engineering. Very quickly, so the first exhibit in your packet is an overall rendering of what the project's going to look like. Again, the site location is from Plymouth to the jewelry store in front of the Wawa Shopping Center. So it's undeveloped currently, except for one old vacant restaurant that was there. Not sure how long it's been vacant, but it's been there for quite some time. So, so real quick, just an overview of the current concept plan. There's about 47,000 square foot of retail, 178 residential units, and all the retail's in the front. And I'll get into the specifics of each portion of the project after giving the overall. Access to the project will be through 2 right-in, right-out driveways along the highway, and then a signalized intersection main driveway at Broadway, and we do have a traffic engineer here to discuss the changes there. To start, we'll start with the commercial. So this commercial obviously is up along the White Horse Pike. So I'm going to start from the left side, or my side of the board here. We have a Chick-fil-A, then we have a standalone Mavis Tire, and then next to the Mavis Tire, we have a single building that has 3 users inside of it. One is the Starbucks with a drive-through, one is a Mike's, Jersey Mike's, and then the last one is a vacant 3,000 square foot retail use, no occupancy yet for that. Then past that, there's the second driveway, and then all the way on the right side of the development is between that second driveway and the main entry into the development is an Aldi. Also in front of the Aldi is a standalone ATM machine. Behind the Mavis, oh, God bless, behind the Mavis and the Starbucks building is a 12,000 square foot retail. No occupancy yet for that retail. Moving on to the residential. So the residential sits just behind the retail. You can see on this exhibit that the little bit of retail that you see on the bottom of the page. So all the residential sits behind that. So as you enter the residential portion of the neighborhood, you will start with 36 1/1 affordable housing units on the right side along Plymouth Road. Then once you pass those, there will be 40 townhome units. The townhome units are three-story townhome units, 20 by 36 in size. And then beyond that is the 102 single-family residentials. They will be broken down into 26 age-restricted units and 76 family units with a maximum bedrooms of 3. So no more than 3 bedrooms in those units. Those obviously meet all the affordable housing units, will meet and comply with the uniform housing affordability controls. Also with this project, we will be extending Rosat Drive. Currently it ends behind the shopping center, so we will extend that into the new neighborhood. We will have access along Plymouth, along the north side of Plymouth, and then we will also have a pedestrian access that runs from the residential portion of the project over to the adjacent shopping center, as well as a large recreational area within the residential portion of the project. All outside agencies that you would typically need for a project of this size, Pinelands, DOT, the Atlantic County Planning Board, Conservation District, all the public works, electric, Jersey Gas, etc. That's essentially what the project is as a whole. Did you have any?
No, we're going to bring up different parties, part of the project team, to go over different specifics with you.
Yep. We do have another board here for the intersection improvements, which our traffic engineer will go through.
Before we get to that, though, we're going to bring up, thank you, Matt.
No, thank you, guys.
Yeah, we're good. We're going to bring up Ms. Rahi. Joe, if you would just identify yourself and explain your affiliation to Paramount and Hammonton 30 developers.
Sure. I am the Director of Development for Paramount Realty. Hammonton 30 Developers is a special purpose entity for this specific property, but I'm the one that would be handling entitlements, approvals, construction, et cetera. Basically, the project would be my baby from start to finish.
And Joey, you've been part of this discussion with the municipality. I identified it as approximately about a year and a half, correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
And you were here previously when we did a prior presentation in April of 2025?
That is correct.
All right, so you're familiar with the original proposal and the current iteration.
Correct.
If you could just kind of walk through the board, how, where we've come from and where we've gotten to as part of those discussions.
Sure. So, yeah, I'm too tall for this. I apologize. All right. Better? Everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So starting from, I'll call it the commercial up to the residential, we reorganized some of the buildings up front. Originally, we had the Mavis up here in the corner, and we had just the regular freestanding QSR over here. Obviously, we have Chick-fil-A. That deal is completely done. We moved them over here to the corner. Mavis shifted over here. We increased the square footage of this multi-retail building that has the Starbucks and Jersey Mike's over here. We also increased the square footage of this retail building up front over here. Going closer towards the intersection where Plymouth is, we pushed back this urban jug handle. There was a request from the town to possibly give more property over to the town pump station over there. So by pushing this road back, we will dedicate this row of land to these properties over here up front. We also are now showing a pedestrian access path coming up over here towards the Walmart for anyone that's living back in the residential component to just be able to walk over to the Walmart and the shopping center over here. And as Matt mentioned before, we have a vehicular access, Rizat Drive, that let cars come back and forth easily. With regards to the residential units, the plan that we showed last year had 6,000 square foot single-family lots. We increased the size to a minimum of 8,000 square feet. Some are even bigger, 10,000, 11,000 square feet. As well, originally the plan was for 3 and 4 bedrooms. After talking to the town, we reduced everything now to 3 bedrooms, and we also agreed to limit 26 of those single-family units to 55 plus age-restricted units as well. So make sure I'm not missing anything. Good. Yeah.
With the commercial tenants that we've identified so far, can you explain to the board where you're at in discussions with those tenants?
Sure. So any of the tenants that we mentioned, deals are signed. So Aldi, Mavis, Starbucks, Jersey Mike's, Chick-fil-A, those deals are done. They're ready to go. Some of the deals were signed last year, so we're a little bit behind the 8 ball with them. So, we would like to start running with it because, retail, they by the time we get approval, sometimes the retail component changes and they want buildings changed, et cetera. So they are all excited about the project. And, once we start going in with regards to design, I think we'll be able to attract more tenants and, be very proud to put some beautiful retail buildings in front of you guys.
Great. I think that touches on everything I wanted to touch on that part of it. And we're going to be here to answer questions, but a couple more people to talk, and then we'll answer whatever questions that you have. Thanks, Joey. So I'm going to ask our traffic engineer to join me for a moment. All right. If you could state your name, explain to the board who you are and who you're affiliated with.
Sure. Patrick Downey with Dynamic Traffic. We're the traffic engineers for the project.
And Pat, I believe you were here in April 2025 as well when we came in the first time to talk to council.
That's correct, yes.
All right. So you've been involved in the project. You're familiar with the proposed traffic improvements?
Yes.
And we had a conversation, you had a pre-application conversation with NJDOT, which really guided what we're showing by way of traffic improvements, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
All right. If you could just explain what the conversation was like with DOT and what we're showing on that exhibit right there?
Sure. So we've had a number of pre-application meetings with them to date for a project along a state highway, especially of one of this size and complexity. Access is really top of mind, one of the first things you need to figure out to make the site work. We've essentially designed all of the roadway improvements, access configuration, exactly how they've asked us to do it. To provide a quick overview, that starts with the primary site access, which we're zoomed in on here, which is a new approach to the existing signalized intersection of Whitehorse Pike and Broadway. That is to provide a signalized access without creating a new signalized intersection along the highway, essentially make the best use of the one that exists. Also at that intersection would be the elimination and rerouting of the existing awkward acute angle of the main street intersection through that urban jug handle you've heard discussed briefly by our site engineer previously. So that street will still have access to the signalized intersection, still have access to the pike, but will do so via the jug handle through this new signalized intersection approach, which is an overall safety benefit to the intersection. Instead of having 5 legs, it remains 4, and it allows us to tighten up the footprint of the intersection. That awkward acute angle leads to a larger intersection footprint. Going a little bit further, we do have some improvements to the existing approaches, which I'll run through. This eastbound approach of the pike have a new left turn lane. Northbound approach, new left turn lane. That provides the ability for new green arrows too to make the left turns a little bit safer. New sidewalk along the frontage, full reconstruction of that traffic signal with modern signal equipment, modern pedestrian amenities, push buttons, ADA curb ramps, etc. So overall, a significant upgrade both to the efficiency of that intersection and the safety of it. This is pretty much right in line with everything DOT's asked us to do, so we would expect their full support moving forward as we seek their access permits for the project.
Thank you. All right, and the last, I want to say witness, I'm just in that habit, but the last person that we're going to ask to give some comment from is our professional planner. Ms. Cafone, if you could explain to the board your name, your profession, and who you're affiliated with.
Yes, hi, good evening. I'm ready to put my right hand up and get sworn in. So used to that, it's a force of habit. So good evening. For the record, my name is Christine Nazaro Cafone. I'm a licensed professional planner. I've been practicing as such for about 30 years now in the state of New Jersey, and I am also a court-appointed affordable housing special master. I had dozens of cases that I was appointed in this last 4th round, as well as dozens in the 3rd round of affordable housing. So I've been practicing as in addition to doing planning, affordable housing for quite some time. So I had an opportunity in coming here tonight to review your affordable housing plan that you adopted and that had approved by the court. So I read your settlement and I read the component parts of it. So I find this project is an integral part of your plan and that it provides you 36 credit-worthy units. So what that means is what makes a credit-worthy unit. So you might have in a municipality a mobile home park or a housing authority. And while we intuitively know that those types of units might be affordable to certain populations, they're not credit-worthy because they're not deed restricted and they don't meet the UHAC requirements. So that's a really important difference with a distinction because in order to insulate yourself from builder's remedy lawsuits, you need to have credit-worthy units that satisfy your obligation, which fortunately you do here in Hammonton and you planned for that. So I think, I wish that we would change the term of affordable housing to workforce housing. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the regional income limits and what constitutes an affordable unit. So here in Hammonton, you are in Region 6. The UHAC 2026 Affordable Housing Regional Income Limits by household side breaks New Jersey up into 6 regions. And each one of those regions has about 3 or 4 counties in it. So Hammonton is in Region 6 with Atlantic, Cape May, Cumberland, and Salem County. So in this region, you could be a 3-person family, and to be a moderate income unit, you could be making $74,000 a year. A single person for a low income unit could be making $35,950 a year. So these are the salaries and the income limits for people to qualify to be in these units. And Hammonton, like every other state in New Jersey, has to have what's called an affordable housing agent. So you will have an affordable housing agent, and that agent will review and qualify the applicants for these units to make sure that they go into the units and that they are credit worthy and they meet your affirmative marketing requirements that everybody has to meet in the state. So a lot of this that is going on in your affordable housing is governed statewide, right? I know that many municipalities are not happy about dealing with this, but the whole genesis behind doing these plans is to further insulate yourself from any builder's remedy lawsuit and meet your constitutional obligation, which you've done. So in so doing, the units have to occur somewhere in Hammonton, right? In prior rounds, not in the 3rd round, but in earlier rounds of housing in New Jersey, we used to be able to do things called RCA, a regional contribution agreement, where you could send your affordable housing out to another municipality. That's no longer permissible, and you can't do that. So the housing has to be created within the confines of your municipality here in Hammonton. So when you apply the UHAC standards to this project, you work out with about, I would say, 7 one-bedroom units, maybe 16 2 and 13 3 is roughly what I think it would shake out. You have to have half of your units have to be 2 and 3 bedroom units. And again, this is to comply with UHAC. This is not something that Hammonton thought was a great idea and that this is what you want your bedroom distribution to look like. This is what UHAC tells us as that we have to comply with in order for these units to be credit worthy. So I am excited to say that this to me is a is an exemplary mixed-use project. I think it certainly, when we choose sites for affordable housing, they have to be available, approvable, suitable, and developable. This is a great site for that. It certainly has access to employment and shopping and goods and services. So I think it's a great affordable housing site. That's likely why the courts and Fair Share Housing Center approved your plan here for choosing excellent sites. And we're excited to be part of your community and part of this plan.
Thank you.
It's my 5-minute affordable housing clinic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's pretty much
Okay.
it. I just want to note one thing. I was going to ask Mr. Mizrahi to go over, but I'll note ancillary redevelopment relief that's being requested. It's a 5-year tax abatement solely on the affordable housing units, no other portion of the project. We're not looking for long-term tax exemption, not looking for a 5-year abatement on any other portion of the project. And typically in the affordable housing realm, affordable housing units, it's probably in your plan, are asked for and typically receive a reduction or offset of the connection fees for water and sewer. But that's typical in the affordable housing realm. And again, only applicable to the affordable housing units, not the non-affordable, what we call market rate units, and not the commercial side of it. And I only mention that because we want to give you the full picture so that you understand exactly what we're asking of you. So what we would envision after tonight, assuming the governing body is comfortable with the redevelopment plan that we've, or the plan of redevelopment that we've put through and worked with the town on, the next step in the process, I'm sure Mr. Malinsky is guiding you appropriately and will correct me where I'm wrong, but you would, at some point in the hopefully near future, you would introduce an ordinance to adopt a redevelopment plan. We actually have a draft of a redevelopment plan that's been provided to the town for your review and review by your town professionals. And once you're comfortable with that, and we make sure it aligns directly with the concept plans that we've reviewed with you tonight, you would need to introduce an ordinance to adopt that. That ordinance would be sent to the Land Use Board for their review and recommendation for consistency with the master plan. We'll come back to you for a public hearing on second reading, and if adopted at that point, would be sent to Pinelands for their certification. As you know, you're in the Pinelands, and every zoning ordinance that you adopt has to be certified by the Pinelands before it can take legal effect. And then we will also be asking the governing body at some point along that process, along that trip, to provide us with a draft redevelopment agreement that we would review and work out the terms of, just to make sure that we're committing to what we've agreed to commit to in writing. So that's our presentation in support of this proposed redevelopment project. All of our, I want to say witnesses, but all of our team will remain here to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Can we start with the traffic, please?
Sure.
So, not counting the light, your two areas of egress are strictly right in, right out. So the only way to make a left-hand turn is at the traffic light, correct?
That's correct, and I'll just kind of add some more color to that. We initially sought discussions with DOT about a plan that did involve more left turn opportunities. They were not in favor of other unsignalized opportunities at the other driveways.
I don't think we would be either, so, you know.
Yeah, so they encouraged us to put them here. Yep.
So, now, we have a couple of farms on Main Road. We have a large trucking company on Main Road. Tractor-trailer traffic is very busy in the summertime. So the only way now to get on Main Road with a tractor-trailer is to go through the new jug handle that you're creating.
Correct, yeah, and so we would be required to submit to DOT along with this improvement as the design is refined, truck turning templates showing that all those types of vehicles that use it today can continue to use it in the future. This is a very conceptual level right now. Some of these radii might get larger, things like
I was
that.
hoping you were going to ask me to say something.
Please.
I also have some questions here. Aldi's, everything gets delivered by tractor trailer. Chick-fil-A, everything gets delivered by tractor trailer. You got a lot of commercial up front there. Show me where these trucks are going to be coming in and out of all the time with your regular traffic. I don't particularly see where you're going to be able to. How are these trucks going to get in and out? Show me. Besides, they can't come out in the back by Resort Lane and come through the development.
Yeah, of course.
You're going to run all these trucks through one light.
For any
All
truck-
these is out in Pennsylvania. So their trucks are going to come down the expressway, through our town, to the light at 30. They're going to make a right, and they're going to come down to that light, and they're going to make a left to go in there just to deliver all these. That's just groceries, that's milk, that's frozen. There's a lot of different trucks. I don't know about that at one light like that. I understand what DOT's telling you. I'm in the business.
Yes, so-
I'm here to listen.
Well, and just to jump on here, we can get the truck count that goes on Main Road in the summertime, but you have the same issue here. You have one traffic light with one lane coming into the development with that newly created jug handle. And you're gonna get all these tractor trailers that have to go to these farms, and to that, there's a packing house there, and there's another, I can't think what it is, out there.
They make blueberry boxes and they deliver it
That's
to all
what
the
yeah,
farmers,
okay.
yes. Yeah.
So, to that one traffic light,
So the light would be the only opportunity for those trucks to make left turns. If truck turn access at additional driveways is important at the local level, the DOT level, or frankly to the tenants themselves to get access to a driveway closer to their own uses up in the front, there's nothing stopping us from designing the right in, right out driveways to be wide enough for truck right-ins and right-outs also. So the only thing limited to the signal, in a sense, is just the left turn movements for delivery trucks.
right, but now if you're going east on the Pike, you make kind of the funky turn, you go behind the old arena, and you're on Main Road and you go. But now, if you have a tractor trailer, you gotta do that newly created jug handle you have.
You're saying for left turns in or
Yeah,
for left turns?
I'm saying, how do we get truck
Yeah.
traffic on Main Road?
Yeah, so for left turns in, that's why DOT is making us add this left turn lane that doesn't exist today on the eastbound approach of the Pike, so they have a dedicated lane with the green arrow to make the left turn in. And then they can use that to either get to the tenants, or they can use it to go right to get to Main Road.
Right, but you're talking multiple tractor trailers a day.
Yep, I mean, this is pretty commonplace in developments of this size and scale on DOT highways. We deal with this all the time, and these signals are designed to accommodate that.
My question, how long
I
is that
disagree.
turn lane there that you're proposing there?
Well, right
Would you
now,
have any
we don't-
idea?
Nothing's specifically designed, right? We haven't
No,
hard
I
engineered the
understand.
project because we're at the preliminary
Okay.
discussion on, so all of this will be taken into account. We're gonna have to provide DOT, the standard DOT required study. We're gonna have to do traffic counts. We can specifically
Yeah.
isolate during that tractor trailer traffic just to account for that. And then that left turn lane that's shown right there may get larger, depending on what those counts generate.
I would think if it's not 2 tractor trailer lengths long, ain't gonna work.
Oh, absolutely more than that.
At
I believe
least.
it already is, and it could get longer.
And DOT's okay with all that?
At a conceptual level, yes, but as mentioned, we need to do the full
Okay.
traffic impact study, and they review all that
All
with
right.
the improvement plans.
Right.
I don't know, just
I
look,
don't, this traffic situation, I know the headache we're gonna face, so we gotta come up with something better. I don't like it. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't like it.
Mayor, if I may, the other issue with that is going to be is the length that the traffic light is green or whatever for these vehicles that come in and out. If you go down there now, what's that, Broadway, you go down Broadway, till you come out to the Pike, I mean, I've gotten a lot of complaints over there about that light not staying green long enough for people to make a left-hand turn or whatever the case may be on the Pike.
Yep.
So, I mean, this all has to play into the DOT's plan, and I'm a little skeptical at this point.
I mean, don't get me wrong here, I like your plan, I like the idea, I understand it. I just a little scared of the truck traffic. I get it, I mean, we enjoy it, Chick-fil-A and all these. The town has asked for another supermarket in this town to go up against ShopRite. I don't know, somebody deny that. They can't, because that's all we hear about every other day. ShopRite, they don't have no competition, nobody against them. I like what I'm looking at. I'm just knowing in the business with tractor trailers, I don't know how that's all gonna work. I think that's, you know,
And odds are the place in the back's probably gonna be a restaurant that doesn't have any.
well, whatever, but I'm just saying that there's.
More deliveries.
Right, more
But
everything.
I think, I still am gonna come back to
Tires
say,
for the tire
right,
place.
if you're heading east right now, today, and you're driving a tractor trailer, you make a left on Main Road behind Arena, and you go. That's it. Now, you would have to make a left at a turn signal, a right at an intersection, a right at an intersection, and a left to get you on Main Road. That seems very impractical for me for a tractor trailer. And again, it's not one a day. You're talking about a large volume of tractor trailers on Main Road in the summertime. So before we even talk anything else, you gotta figure out this traffic. Is this
So-
no good?
And
So, Mayor-
excuse me, one
Oh,
second,
I'm sorry.
Mayor, I understand, I get you there, I understand where you're at, but actually, the way it is out there now is not safe either.
Correct.
It's very dangerous the way them tractor trailers have to cross to get on the main road. That's the answer, that is the most, I think, one of the most dangerous intersections we have in the town.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly what can be done or how it can be done, but I do know you have all your commercial up front there, and I get it, but you have a lot of, everyone, Chick-fil-A, they come by tractor trailer. Aldi's, they come by tractor trailer. I mean, you know,
Jersey Mike's Tire Place,
I
all of it.
I would
So
think they, so,
They're not
I'm
all
just
going to be
saying,
utilizing the light. A lot of them, they make multiple deliveries in a day. They go on a route. And most of the time, when they're on one side of a highway where they're required to make a right in, right out, they will come from another delivery coming that direction to make the right in, right out. So not all of the tractor trailer, like when I don't mean to speak for you, Pat, but I've been doing it long enough to know that not all of the trip distribution will be tractor trailers specifically through that jug handle. Now, taking into account the comments, we can look at it and go back and talk to DOT about other alternatives, but right now, this is what DOT has told us that they're going to approve. What they don't like is the five-leg intersection. They don't like the access to Main Road off the highway at the angle, and in order to redevelop this site with anything, whether it be this or another concept, you're going to be required, that developer is going to be required to close off that Main Road access. So that's an inevitability if we're interested in doing, commercial in this location. The access to the residential in the back is a different, it's just ancillary to the rest of it. But, and they're not all deliveries are tractor trailer. There's box trucks, there's smaller individual deliveries over time. So in other words, this is, in order to get to the point where we hard engineer the site, and our traffic engineers go through all of the mechanisms that DOT require for us to apply for a major access with planning permit, which is what this would be, we need to have a plan, a zoning in place to enable us to do that. And that's the space that we're at. And, we've shown this concept to, various parts of the town council and the land use board and professionals multiple times over the last several months. And this is the first time we're hearing about this specific concern. So we're willing to take it into account, but I encourage you to not stall how far we've gotten because of that. Because ultimately DOT is going to control what happens with the traffic and the signal.
So there's been no traffic study yet, correct?
We've done analysis preliminarily just to understand at a high level that what we're proposing can work. I would say those results, while they're not published, look promising at this point, and will ultimately have to fall within DOT's rules for what's allowable.
Are you taking into account winter and summer? Because summer, that is extremely active with the farms, like I said, the farms and the blueberries.
Yep.
Not blueberries. The box company that's back there and all, that's probably like 3-4 times busier, maybe even more than that, than it would be in a spring or winter month.
Yeah, DOT's got rules for basically when we collect traffic counts to do these types of studies to ensure we don't do it in a below average time.
Okay.
Yep.
The other thing to keep in mind, we've been working with the state and county. Pleasant Mills Road, as it exists, about a mile and a half up the road, is going to end as a cul-de-sac. So you won't be able to enter Pleasant Mills Road from the White Horse Pike. You have to enter, if you want to go down Pleasant Mills Road, you're going to have to go to the lighted Seagrove. So it further complicates all the farms that are on Pleasant Mills Road and all the farms and all the truck traffic that's on Main with this whole configuration here. That project is slated, I think the last update was like 29 or 30, but that's going to happen. So here's how it's going to go. Pleasant Mills Road is a county road. From Main Road to the Pike, the county's going to give the town that road and it'll be closed. Seagrove will be a new county road. We're going to flip-flop roads. But that still gives us, so we lose a point of entry on the Pleasant Mills and Main because of Pleasant Mills Road not being available anymore off of Route 30. That gives us a lighted Seagrove and this light. That's all we have to get all of our commerce out that way.
Will the intersection of Main and Pleasant Mills remain? So
The
will you be
intersection
able
of
to-
Main and Pleasant Mills will remain, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to have 2 points of tractor trailer entrance. Without this project, it would be Main Road off of the Pike at Broadway.
Correct.
And Seagrove.
Seagrove,
And with this, it would be the urban jug handle in Seagrove.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
and if you want to go back, I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know how you would be able to reconfigure it, but I think, like right now, all the truck traffic that comes off of, like, into Walmart and all over there, tractor trailers back there on that road, lane, whatever you want to call it. There's not a problem too much there that I have seen with tractor trailers. Is there any way to reconfigure the homes along that edge and maybe have your truck traffic right along the edge to come into these commercial properties? Keep it completely off the pike. I'm just throwing something out there. I have no idea if that can possibly happen with your development or not. But think about that. If your trucks are gonna come in off 206, off of 30, off of whichever way at that traffic light, come back there through the back and stay right along the edge of that property and come into this commercial bit, make their deliveries, circle right back out again and right back to either 206 north, going through our town, back to the expressway. I'm just throwing something out there. It keeps everything pretty much away from that light, except what we already have down the road, which is not your problem. It's their problem, that the box company and everything's down there, but it doesn't bring any of that truck traffic into that light. I'm just throwing something out there.
So just one thing, our nature of our Paramount Realty is we own and manage a lot of shopping centers, about 16 million square feet of retail now. Most of the truck traffic is going to be off-peak hours, meaning it's going to be
You're
middle of
right.
night, stuff like that. So
I agree with you.
at that point, and really it's once a day at most, so there's really not going to be as much truck traffic on site as possible. I agree with you, farms, that's a whole other issue, but I don't think this development will really create any truck traffic at all. I mean, the dynamic will show you the data, but I mean, it's minimal at best. I mean, when I say minimal, maybe it's one truck a day per unit. That's about it.
Off-peak.
Off-peak, yeah, correct. I mean, Chick-fil-A is not gonna load until, 4 AM, something like that, so.
I get all that, and I'll be honest with you, when I look at the Aldis, I think up in Marlton, across from the hospital there and all, and there's that big super light they got there, and trucks coming in and out of there, and it seems to flow very well. I just don't know if this light over here can handle, and I get where you're going, but again, there is daytime deliveries. I do it. I own trucks, okay?
Well,
So let's
I
not
mean,
go
we-
there. But all I'm saying is, I don't know if there's a little better way than putting everything at that one light. That's all I was throwing out there. You guys are the professionals, not me.
So we could talk to the tenants about the deliveries when we get down the road, everything like that. But as Pat mentioned before, the only people that are gonna be accessing the light are if trucks are coming east on the pike to make a left. If they're already coming west on the pike, they're gonna make a right in and then a right out. So they're not gonna be accessing the light. Because it's just easier, like if you go to Chick-fil-A, just to come in and then and come out. And we'll run truck templates and show how everyone could do that at the end of the day. I can't tell you from now if people are gonna be making left or rights, but if they're making, like Charlene mentioned, right in, right out, we can make sure that we accommodate that. And trust me, last thing we want is to put a new development and have cars backed up to here. I mean, we get that
That would
totally.
be a mess.
Yeah, we agree with that.
And just to reiterate, I'll say it one more time. I personally don't care about the deliveries coming in and out of there. I understand what you're saying. I'm worrying about moving all of the trucks that we have to the farms on the east end of town.
Yep.
That's gonna be the problem.
I
The
mean,
deliveries will work themselves out.
Pat,
It's that truck traffic.
did you do a study on how many vehicular cars versus trucks, or could we do that study?
We can certainly do it. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we're going to have to collect weeks' worth of traffic data when we submit the full traffic study to DOT. It's going to include all this information, and it's going to be baked into both the design of that signal and all of the roads. So, as was mentioned, truck turning templates are going to be submitted both to the town professionals, to the DOT professionals. That's a key component of any type of project like this that has to be done correctly.
And I can tell you, the residential cars as well, because I live on Pleasant Mills Road, and just to get out of the development that I live in, you're waiting for at least 10 cars to pass before you can come out of the development. So there's not only truck traffic, but there's a lot of residential traffic now coming through Main Road to Pleasant Mills.
Yeah, part of what we have to do is, basically, we're redoing the whole traffic light at this intersection, now to include green times, et cetera. And DOT won't give us a permit until we prove that all green times are adequate, going all directions. Basically, starting from scratch, as if there's no traffic light there. So, if there's a failing, whatever the scorecard is, they're gonna say, yeah, you have to adjust the green times, whatever. So, I mean, that I'm not so as concerned about, at least on that intersection, because we're basically starting from scratch and making sure that everything queues properly, et cetera. Because DOT won't let us, like I said, stacked over here, they won't give us a permit for that.
And keep in mind, what we're here tonight, is to get your feedback on this, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's also, we're at the plants, what we presented to you on paper, aside from this, is a redevelopment plan, which allows for this scope of development, but it doesn't specifically tie you or the developer to this specific concept plan. Once we start hard engineering, things may change. The scope of commercial might get smaller, the residential might move and get less. It'll never be more than what you allow in the redevelopment plan we propose, but it could be less after hard engineering. We've got stormwater management we have to account for. We've spoken with Pinelands about impacts that they're gonna want us to address. So this is a comprehensive concept plan. It's the most it can be under the zoning standard that we are under right now, in the context that we're in at the moment. Until we have a redevelopment plan that says, yes, you can build 178 residential units, you're giving us 36 affordable housing units, you're deed restricting certain units, or age restricting certain units, you're giving us up to 47,000 square feet of commercial, and we have these tenants lined up, but things can move and things can change through hard engineering. But we can't start hard engineering until the redevelopment plan is adopted. And as far as Mr. Marino, you're concerned about the signal timing, DOT looks at all that as part of this as well. I agree with you. I don't like coming down Broadway and waiting to make a left to get on the Pike. It takes forever.
I mean, to give you an example real fast, I was on there the other day. There was 3 cars ahead of me. Guess who had to get stuck at the light again?
Right.
I mean, that is way too fast.
Right.
It's way, so, and then the people's complaints that I'm getting are definitely legitimate.
Sure, and we don't deny that, and we don't control that right now, but the benefit of doing something like this and putting it back before DOT is now we can have these timing signal conversations with them.
Well, that's
right?
basically why I'm putting that out there. And the other thing I would add, when you do your surveys, your traffic studies and everything, are you gonna do some in the summertime, like when everybody's going down the shore to get, or they're on vacation? Because the traffic out there is just horrendous in the summertime.
So typically what happens is when we're ready to start our engineering, those counts get done. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. DOT has standards for us to apply factors to account for higher peak seasons if our counts are done in an off-peak season. And then we can always go back and supplement counts at a later time with counts taken during that specific season to make sure that the DOT factor that they required us to apply is accurate. So I can't guarantee the counts would be taken in the summer because our timing may not align with that, but it does get accounted
Well,
for.
the ideal thing would do to take them this summer and in the winter as well.
Right,
So
so
you can do
we
a
may have to start
comparison.
with winter and finish with summer, or depending on timing, or start with summer and finish with winter. But that all gets taken into account.
All right, thank you.
I have a quick question. I just want to confirm from some of the discussions we've had related to the commercial component. I know we've highlighted probably 5 or 6 retailers that are already, I guess, slated to come in. These are executed leases, or this is in LOI phase? I was wondering if you could provide some additional commentary around that.
The executed leases.
Switches on the bottom.
Switches on, yeah.
Yeah, they're executed leases.
Okay, and I guess tangential to that, I guess another question to follow up on that, if today this went through, what is the timeline, I guess moving forward here? We have executed leases, there's potentially economic fluctuations, a lot of different things that could come into play that can make it such that maybe Aldi doesn't want to come or Chick-fil-A doesn't want to come anymore. So what is sort of the protection that's layered in there to ensure that these spaces are still going to be
It's a
occupied?
good question because it's a battle that we do deal with development all the time. So retail tenants know development-wise, it takes a long time, especially in the state of New Jersey. So those timelines are built into the lease already. Sometimes, yeah, we get past that and we get into trouble, but especially on this project, knowing the extent of what we do for the DOT, that's probably the biggest bottleneck on this project. It's built in the timeline, and everyone is aware of the restructuring of the intersection. So we have that timeline built in on those leases. But like I said, we have to get to that point where we're able to do that. So that's part of the why we're here.
Like I said, I'm good. I like the whole concept, the whole thing, but you got some pretty good brands. I mean, you got Starbucks, you got, Chick-fil-A. I mean, you got a lot of car traffic. You got the development coming in and out of that. If there was a way to, I get you, they might come from the east, but most trucks will have 2 or 3 deliveries, 2 or 3 Aldis delivering, whether it's the milk truck, whether it's the produce
Yeah,
truck.
Old D will have more than.
Okay, but
Chick-fil-A,
get me,
yes.
but get me, most of it's gonna be coming from the west to the east, most of the trucks. But all I'm saying is, if there was a way to keep it off the pike, I don't know if there's a way, but I know the truck traffic that goes into Walmart and all that back in there, I don't know anybody that ever complains, and if there was a way to come in and out along that edge there and come to these, different, commercial sites, I just threw that out there. Maybe you can't.
We'll definitely take a look at it with the traffic engineers.
I'm not
and-
against this, I'm just thought,
Yeah,
as
the
soon as I
funny thing
saw
about it
that
also
light,
is that-
I says, oh my God, where's all these trucks gonna go?
That's
all I'm throwing out
part of
there.
the funny thing is also, when we can talk about it, we complain for it, and then the truck driver does his own thing anyways.
But he does what he wants anyway, I get it,
But yeah, we could take a look and see if there's a creative way of going about
just
that.
threw it out there.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
And the other thing I'll bring up, I know you guys are looking at some, all your options with the redevelopment plan here. We still have to grapple with our school issue. That the school issue doesn't go away for us. It's a town-wide problem. We don't need to overload our schools. So when you're looking at the 102, I know we have 26 that are over 55. The more over 55, the better. It helps our schools out.
Sorry. We understand. It's, the ultimate builders don't see the value, unfortunately, on the 55 over market. We originally had 4 bedrooms, open market. We limited them to only 3 bedrooms, and we're limiting 26 of them to 55 and over. I don't think we could go further than that because the builder is basically about to pull out as it is already. I think the concessions on the residential were given. I don't know if they're willing to go further. And we need the residential in order to make all these improvements work. Unfortunately, in the commercial world, the commercial doesn't pay enough to do this. So we're doing a bunch of redevelopment all over New Jersey, Pennsylvania, redoing malls, et cetera. The residential is the only thing to get these things to move on at this point in the way the market stands right now.
Yeah, and the one thing that's in the packet, we didn't really get to the back of the packet after those concept plans, but we've got some visuals for you. So you might recall we had some visuals from D.R. Horton when we were here about a year and a half ago. They were 3 and 4 bedroom units, townhomes, and single families. So you'll see the first 2 pages are 2 versions of 3-story townhomes that Horton provides that are listed specifically at 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath. We've agreed to limit the development to 3 bedrooms. The third sheet is just the rendering of the 1/1 flats. Those bedroom counts will comply with UHAC, the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls. The conceptual bedroom breakdown was given by Ms. Cafone, but the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls dictate how many 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom units you have to have or may have in that type of development. And then the last 3, they are similar renderings to what we previously showed to you, but we are in agreement, and the redevelopment plan as it stands now does reflect maximum 3-bedroom, single-family units, both for the, and we anticipate, of course, the age restricted would probably be 2 to 3 bedroom, and a maximum of 3 bedroom on the family units.
So D.R. Horton is your builder,
As of today, yes.
as of today, okay? That could change.
It can change, and it does sometimes on projects like this. It depends on parameters. They weren't anticipating being limited to 3-bedroom units. It's just not their building model
Or the age restriction.
or the age restriction. So when we went back and told them that's what we're agreeing to,
Okay.
sometimes you have to work things out.
Understood.
All right, so other questions from anyone up here for now?
No, I'm
You
good.
guys good on this side?
That was my only question. I
about
like
this
it. I just,
All right, so why don't we do this? We have a bunch of people in the audience. Does anyone have any questions about this today? Thoughts, comments, questions from the audience? Anyone? Come on up. Can you, come up to the mic though, please?
please, yeah.
You can take that one so I can answer you and be heard too. Thank you.
It's on.
Edwin,
Is there-
just state your, I know your name, but state it for the record.
Edwin Negroni, residents of 217 Cottage Avenue here in Hammonton.
Great, go ahead, Evan.
Is there an option to widen up that lane there where Arena is? Is there an option of working a deal with Arena and eliminating that building, make that area wider to get a better access?
No,
So let's.
That's for them to answer.
I don't think you'll get Arena.
Sorry.
Arena ain't gonna do it. It's historical, first of all, isn't it?
Is there an option to, I don't want to block this, eliminate this area here and make this intersection wider so we can maneuver this traffic?
So I guess to answer your question, to my knowledge, that hasn't been a discussion thus far. Really, what DOT is looking for here is to eliminate this component of the intersection, this fifth leg at this angled approach, which is what's pushing us to make this jug handle form. It's really a safety improvement to make this as close to a traditional 90-degree intersection as possible. And the benefit of this plan is it hits those safety improvements DOT is looking for without requiring right-of-way from any other off-site properties, just the one that's proposed.
So this building will remain?
Yes, there's no plan to affect any other properties.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience?
Arena, John.
Evening, everyone.
Yep, you're on. Go
It's
ahead.
on.
Evening, everyone. John Lyons, President of the Hammonton Board of Education. I would just ask the council to consider, when you're going through your deliberation and negotiation with the developer, to any type of tax abatement or pilot program really should be a last resort. I understand that in the draft form, it's limited to the restricted units, the low-income units, but it doesn't restrict the senior units or the market rate units. I understand it's dependent on the project, but you can have students that come from senior restricted units. Just because they're senior restricted doesn't mean they won't have children living in those domiciles that have to enroll in public school. So I would just ask you again, the traffic and all of the other, the commercial and all the other things, I leave that all in your capable hands. But from our point of view as a Board of Education, anything you can do to ensure that the tax dollars, which is roughly 66 cents on the dollar, for schools and for education come to us as these units get built so that we can do the things we need to do to educate the kids that are going to enjoy the community. So just from our point of view as a Board of Education, that's really, really important to us. Anecdotally, if I had $1 for every time someone said Chick-fil-A at this meeting, we would do some serious upgrades in the Hammonton Public School District, but that's a side note. Anyway, but from the school's point of view, that's where we are. I mean, I'm happy to answer questions after about impacts to education, but again, our point of consideration is just resist any temptation to do a pilot or an abatement or anything like that. We need to be able to educate kids. So, thank you.
Fair enough.
So,
You can leave that there.
so Johnny, before you leave, so you're saying as long as you can get the dollars, you're gonna be able to educate the kids that end up in this development?
So let's talk about that, Sam.
Because that's what was talked about before.
I'm really glad you brought it up. So, first of all, just taking a step back, the public school district doesn't have a choice. We educate every kid that moves into town, no matter what. Homeless kids that are coming from another community that move here, people that move into the new homes wherever they are, people do a renovation, people have a family. So we're going to educate the kids no matter what. So let's be real clear about that. Whatever kids register, school starts on Tuesday. We have 5 register on Friday, new registrants. So, so as the kids come in, we're going to do what we need to do to make sure we get them educated, and we'll figure it out. There's a number that gets thrown around town. People say, well, the enrollment's down 3% in the last 3 years at the school district, 2% in the last 3 years at the school district. That is a fact. That's accurate. However, while net enrollment is a little bit down, our enrollment doesn't have a natural. It's got slopes. It's really not that consistent. It's just driven by trends in society in a lot of ways. That said, today, our third grade, our pre-K, our third grade, and our 7th grade are up right around 12 or 13%. It's kind of in those segments. So not every class is the same size. So this year we graduated, I think, around 312 in the last couple years, we've had classes as high as 370 at Hampton High School, right? So it kind of does this.
Peaks and valleys.
We're able to figure that part of it out. But again, the kryptonite for us and what prevents me from doing that is students that arrive without requisite funding, right? We know, we can project some of that stuff. Again, not related to Hammonton. We also, as a school district, have some headwind with the 560 units at what I'll call the former ACO movie theater site, even though I think my geography might be a little bit off. There's a significant amount of units there. And those projections, as relayed to me by members of the Waterford School Board, are over what they thought they would be, which is great. That means people want to live in your town. That's a good thing. But anyway, Sam, I know it's a long-winded answer, but
No, I wouldn't.
that's the calculus from our point of view. With more students and no additional tax dollars to back that up,
not good.
I'm in a bad way. So.
Yeah,
Other-
that's why
go ahead.
I agree
Yeah.
with you there.
And just one other question,
Totally
to talk about
understood.
the ACO movie theater for a second.
Yeah.
Because it is a common question. How do you square that? You anticipated X number of students, but you have Y. Now what? I
So-
understand you have to educate them, but
Yeah,
How do we do this?
not to nerd out about tuition and how that works, but just real quick. Hammonton accepts Waterford Township students from grade 7 through, when they get to grade 7, they come to us. So 7 to 12, we have the Waterford Township students. We bill tuition on a 2-year look back. So I bill tuition on actual cost. So the way I arrive at actual cost is obviously we add up staff cost and overhead and all these other things. And there's a state calculation, and I come up with a tuition number. They give me a student count. They say, we think we're going to send you this many students times this much per student, and that's how much money comes in. And then we settle up. We're on a 2-year look back or a 2-year settle up. So from Waterford Township's point of view, if they overshoot their number, I'm educating the kids. I'm billing them per student either way. So if I have to add classes, if I have to expand, if I have to add staff, that's all going into the bill, and they're just paying for it later. So what it does is it puts me in a little bit of a short-term cash crunch. I brought it up not because of that reason. Financially, we're making it all work, and the Waterford School District is a long-term partner of ours and will remain that way for the duration. There are students, and we're happy to have them, and they're happy to be with us, and it's wonderful. I bring it up in this context just to say that people are quick to throw around there are folks that are quick to throw around uneducated opinions about student counts. And I'm just saying, thank you for asking those questions, and thank you for inviting me to come tonight, because I'll make my staff available, whoever you need, at the school district, whoever you need, to get you the information to help you make the decision. That's the only reason I brought up the Waterford thing. It is a situation unique to them in most respects, but again, it's a piece of this whole
We
conversation.
need that
Fair
part.
enough.
We need your voice.
Yes.
That's why I asked.
A quick question. So you're saying between ACO and a project like this, we should be good with the way the school sits now?
What I'm s-
Space-wise, space-wise, but just space.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate the question. I'm saying that I don't have a choice. So let me be clear about how this is going to work.
There's 50
So-
kids in a classroom.
Well, that's,
It's gonna be 50
it's,
kids in a
right,
class.
so my answer, to be real candid, as I get more students, I find places to put. We're cutting the ribbon Wednesday at the ECEC, we added 8 classrooms. Fantastic. We'll figure it out. Some of the things that you do first, and we're already doing most of these, you get your special area teachers and they have to go classroom to classroom, right? It's a creative scheduling. You have teachers that don't have their own classroom. That's not great, but you do it. We've done it. We've done it a lot of years. The next thing you do is you increase class size. Again, to nerd out about education, the only mandated class size you have is a pre-K class. That's the only one that's capped. By statute, you can only have a certain amount of kids in a pre-K class. The rest of them, they can increase. Some years, look, when things were not going well for us, we had 28, 29 kids in a class, right? We're much lower than that. And let me be very clear, I do not believe that all of what you're talking about will take us there. So let me be clear about that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying to answer your question, Jim, is that we reconfigure, we increase class size, and we figure it out. Because that's our job. Our job is to educate the kids no matter what, right? The police department answers the 911 calls no matter what. You got to do it. And so it's the same situation we're in. So, again, my only point of view, I didn't come up here to talk about student counts or any of that. My thing is just resist the negotiation point about the pilot and the tax abatement or anything like that. The best thing you can do for schools is what I just talked about, is to make sure we get that money in the door.
The information's great to hear, Johnny. That's what people need to know.
Yeah.
They need to know that.
Happy
That's
to,
why I said, what do you need?
happy to share it. Happy to share it.
Absolutely.
One last thing while I'm up here. Hammonton Blue Devil, home opener, Friday night. Great place to go. Come out and see us. We're coming, it's a new time. We're setting the standard. So, thanks everybody.
All right, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone in the audience regarding this subject specifically? Any other questions from anyone up here for now? Are we good for a little bit on this subject? Yes, everyone good? You guys good for now?
I'd just like to make a closing statement when you're ready.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, thank you. So we do want to thank council and all of your professionals for your time, not just tonight, which you've dedicated a lot of time to us, and you didn't need to do that, so it's much appreciated, but over the period of the last year and a half, maybe even a little longer, in ongoing communications to try to get us to this point. We heard what you said. I just want to clarify, just for Mr. Lyons' benefit, and I'm sure he's still, his position's not changing, and I'm not asking it to, but I indicated earlier, we're not seeking a long-term pilot. We're not seeking tax abatement on the market rate units. But it is very common in the affordable housing context to provide a tax abatement to allow for those affordable housing units to get rolling. That was the only piece that we were looking for, a short-term, not a long-term pilot, short-term abatement, just for clarification. But it's good to hear that, it won't be the negative impact on the school. He indicated, hey, we're still not going to get the 28 plus kids a class, even with Waterford and this development. It's what I heard. I hope that's accurate. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. It's good to hear that. But overall, what we're looking for from the governing body, not tonight, but hopefully at your next meeting, is to get to the point where we can introduce the redevelopment plan. Let's get the zoning process working in a positive direction. The traffic concern, the light signal, we can take all that into account. We can go back and we can look. Again, that redevelopment plan is, just for members of the public who may not be familiar, there's two ways to zone in New Jersey. One is through a traditional zoning ordinance. The other is through redevelopment. Redevelopment plan is the contextual equivalent to a traditional zoning ordinance, but in the redevelopment context. So under the local redevelopment and housing law, it provides a little bit more flexibility for the municipality and a specific developer to negotiate what zoning should look like for a specific site. And that brings a positive benefit to the municipality by way, in this case, of we'll talk about, we'll figure out how we can improve the traffic, but by way of commercial ratables, it satisfies, this project will satisfy your affordable housing obligation for the fourth round, which is already in your housing element fair share plan, which the Land Use Board adopted, and it's been submitted to the court and approved by the court. So we're satisfying those public interest issues. At the same time, while we're taking valuable commercial rateable along the White Horse Pike that's never really been able to be developed, and we have a viable plan for that. It does come with residential, and in order to have affordable housing, you have to have market rate housing, the equivalent, and the numbers, as the governing body probably knows, there's a standard set aside with what we call an inclusionary project. It's market rate and affordables together in one project. It's called inclusionary. There's a mandatory set aside, it's 20%. Your 20% here is 36 units, which was full satisfaction of your fourth round obligation. And that 36 units for affordable comes along with a number of residential units to hit. Once you do the math and times it by 20%, you get your 36. So we're at minimum density to be able to permit your 36 affordable housing units. So we feel like in the conversations that we've had and in the discussions back and forth and with the accommodations that we've made so far, pedestrian access to the neighboring commercial center, the extension of Resort Drive into the site to alleviate some traffic coming in and out off the White Horse Pike frontage. We've been very receptive. We're still receptive. We're going to take your comments tonight into account, but I don't think that changes the overall redevelopment plan that's been proposed. Again, as I noted earlier, that redevelopment plan provides a maximum scope of development up to 47,000 square feet, up to 178 residential units with 36 affordable. If during hard engineering and accommodating some of these other concerns, potentially finding a way to bring tractor trailer traffic through Resort Drive, if any of that changes, it reduces what's being proposed, we can't increase it. So there's really no reason at this point for the governing body to not consider introducing the redevelopment plan at the next meeting, once your staff has finished reviewing it and confirming that it's consistent with the scope of development shown on the concept plans. It's time, we feel like, and we hope that you agree that it's time for us to move forward with that step. That allows us to hard engineer, to really start fine tuning, to start doing the traffic studies that DOT is going to require, to really start bringing it together and being able to fine tune that plan. So as we leave here today, again, thanking you for your time, what we are asking is that you consider adopting or introducing the redevelopment plan at your next governing body meeting, sending it to the land use board so that it can be adopted, because as you probably know, ordinances, which is the process to adopt a redevelopment plan, must be introduced and adopted in the same calendar year. So we're trying to get that, we first presented a redevelopment plan in writing a year ago. And we're here now a year later with significant changes. And we're hoping now that we're at that point where you're comfortable introducing that, allowing us to get to hard engineering, and then we'll refine and we'll address these issues that you raised with us tonight. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let's start the meeting. We'll dispense with the regular order of business. Resolution 153, 2026, capital budget amendment, Green Acres Lake Park 2026 grant. I have a motion, please.
Motion?
R. Rodeo,
Second.
S. Rodeo. Discussion on this resolution. This is Green Acres funding, $600,000 grant, $150,000 no interest loan, right, Frank?
Correct.
And the balance is funded through the town with some grants we already have in the bank. The rest will be funded through an ordinance. Anyone else discussion on this issue? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon?
Yes.
Moreno?
Yes.
Natro?
Yes.
R. Rodeo?
Yes.
S. Rodeo?
Yes.
Shipione?
Yes.
Mayor Forgione?
Yes, motion carried. We'll start with committee reports, if we could kind of abbreviate them slightly, just to try to gain some time here.
Abbreviate mine a lot.
I'm sorry, admin and Councilman Marino.
Oh, yeah, Mayor. My report's so short that after meeting with Mr. Zuber today, we're going to merge mine into his. I have other things to bring up. I'll bring them up after everybody's report's done.
I love it.
So I'll just, what we're gonna talk, what we're gonna say. New computers for Town Hall are ready for installation. They were purchased last month, and they'll be starting installation September 1st. And then the new employee that we approved last month started on the 10th of August, and she's doing a great job so far. That's it, Brad.
All right, great. B&I and Councilwoman Rodeo.
Thank you, Mayor. Updates and notices from Main Street, Hammonton. There's new businesses coming, Belle on Bellevue, Cream Cafe, and D'Amico Travel. Bellevue Bagel Cafe will be undergoing renovations. The downtown Hammonton website, they're currently going under an updated with a cleaner, more modern design and easier navigation with a greater focus on showcasing the businesses, activities, and events that make downtown Hammonton a destination. The Touch a Truck that was held on August the 16th was hosted by Robert Capaferri Foundation, and it was held at the Bellevue. It was a tremendous success, bringing the community together for a fun-filled day. The day began with a sensory-inclusive hour, followed by appearances from Swoop and the Eagles cheerleaders, dozens of impressive trucks, games, giveaways. It was definitely a success. We are happy to announce that we are going to have an end of the summer bash. It will be on August the 30th. It will be held at the Lincoln Street area near the water tower. It's a free community event, and it will be 3 hours of live music. The Party Wave Band will be performing. There will be a beer garden. Kramer Beverage is providing 5 selections. There will be food vendors, there will be face painting, lawn games, activities, and guests are encouraged to bring their own lawn chairs and blankets and enjoy one last summer event. Upcoming events are the End of Summer Bash, which I just discussed, which is this Sunday, the Pooch Palooza, which is September the 11th, Haunted Hammonton Ghost Stories, which is October the 16th. The Drug Alliance Trunk or Treat is also October the 16th. And the Main Street Cornhole Tournament will be October the 17th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. We'll go on the quality of life and Councilman Calderon.
Thank you, Mayor. I will try to do this Marino style to keep things moving along. First, the Veterans Banner Program for downtown has gotten quite a bit of traction. There's a lot of interest in that. If you were interested in yourself, a loved one, a friend, and having a banner put up in their honor, the forms are available on the town website. I believe there's also a couple of printed out versions that are still available at Town Hall. You just fill out the form with all the necessary information, name, rank, a branch of service, and provide an image which is 5x7 or larger. Moving on, the Social Services Committee will meet this Thursday. We had our first meeting, I guess, about 6 weeks ago now. We began to talk about some partnerships between local service organizations in the town, and I hope to have a bit of a deeper and more comprehensive report at next month's meeting following that meeting. And the last thing I have is regarding the Historical Society Museum located in Veterans Park. We've been talking with Frank Chapin from the Historical Society about the steps of the building, which are not structurally secure. Some of the bricks are falling off. So we've received a quote from Scrapple Brothers Concrete to repair the steps by putting in a concrete footing and then rebuilding the steps on top of that. And I'd like to make a motion to approve the bid for $3,200.
All right, so we have a motion to...
Second. Sorry.
I didn't even describe it yet.
I'm sorry.
We got a motion to...
I'm trying to cut my report in half.
Okay.
I'm rushing over here.
All right, so we got a motion from
much to do.
Calderon, a second from Scipione. This is to fix the steps at the Historical Society
We're
building.
gonna fix them, relax.
All right. Any comments? You good, everybody? All right. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Matro?
Yes.
Radio?
Yes.
Radio? Scipione?
No. Yes, I was kidding.
And Mayor Fagioni?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, go ahead, JD.
That concludes my report.
Oh, okay. All right, education and...
Yes. I'm going to take the time that they hurried with to finish all
Go ahead.
this. Because these are very important dates here. Okay. At the last school board meeting, they talked about chronic absenteeism, which is 10% or more of the days of excused and unexcused for a school year. Nationwide, 30% of the kids are chronically absent. Hammonton, ECEC, 93%. Are coming to school. Elementary, 95%. Middle school, 94%. High school, 93%. The parent portal is open. This is important. The schedules are on the parent portal. Tuesday, September 1st is the first day of school. Orientations, ECEC is August 27th. The ECEC renaming is August 26th. SOI, August 25th for orientation. Middle school, August 24th for orientation. High school, August 25th for orientation. Okay. We're working hard on our September 18th in our Hispanic Heritage Celebration. We're still meeting every 2 weeks. So September 18th is coming up. Everyone is welcome. They're going to have food trucks, live music, dancing, movies in English and in Spanish, arts and crafts, and vendors. I met with our senior citizens at the Canoe Club last week. I want to thank St. Joe Academy. Mr. Capuccio was there, Mr. Carney, and Miss LaRosa for their presentation that we made last week. The students will be helping our seniors with their many events. We'll be hosting the first one, which the seniors will be able to bring in their computers or phones and iPads, and the students will work with the seniors, helping them navigate through their cell phones and computers. Let's see here. This Wednesday, as I stated earlier, August 26th, the ECEC will be renamed Robert Capaferri Early Childhood Education Center, or the RCECEC. Everyone is welcome to attend at 2:30. I pushed for this over 2 years ago, so I'm very happy to see it finally happening. And that will got that, got them written everywhere. That will, that'll be it. I pretty much cut it in half for you.
Thank you, I appreciate
All
it.
that writing for nothing. That's okay.
Public Works and Deputy Mayor Rodeo.
I'll make it short for you too, Mayor. Public Works side, there really isn't much, as far as there's no action items and all. So, and I'll leave the action item there for Mr. Matro coming up with the 54, right? Correct?
What's that?
The action item you can take care of that, right?
You can take care of it, go ahead.
All right, we have, all right, we have an action item that I will let Mr. Raymond of ARH discuss with everyone. And at the time of, I guess we'll do it then, at the time of his report. And the only other thing I really need to say is Mr. Zuber is going to have something to say that we've been waiting for a long time down at the airport. And hopefully, right here in the next couple of weeks, it'll be completed. I'll let him speak about that. That's it, Mayor.
All right,
Got it, keep going.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Water and Sewer and Councilman Matro.
All right, I'll be real quick. Glow, get the lead out. They have another 700 homes to go out to inspect the lines for, and they'll be coming around in this next month or two. We're starting to work on an ordinance and get that together for getting these lines replaced once we have all the houses identified that have the lead lines. The water tower on 4th Street, the antenna is up there now. They finally placed it, looks good. And that's online, or it should be up and finished now, the project, and we should be collecting rent on that. See, I made the mayor smile.
Yeah.
And other than that, that's my report.
All right, thank you. Could we do a law and order, Chief Reel, if you don't mind?
Quick one for you.
All right.
We are currently running a grant right now for end of summer DWI crackdown, which is running from August 19th through September 7th. I would like to thank all that came out to our National Night Out, although Mother Nature didn't want to cooperate and sprinkled down on us a little bit, but we still got the fireworks off. And a very important note is school is starting next Tuesday on September 1st. We are going to be out there enforcing motor vehicle laws to keep our community safe. I know that a lot of parents love to drive their kids to school, love to take the pictures. I applaud that, that's great. But we have to keep in mind that there's going to be an awful lot of congestion in those areas. We need to be mindful of our traffic that's going on and very mindful of our crossing guards. I hate to bring this up, but last year there were several points of time where we actually had to have a uniformed police officer out with the crossing guard in the intersections of 4th and Fairview and Liberty Street because motorists were not driving with due caution. So I would hope that our community residents will set a great example for all those that are motoring through our school districts to make sure that they're driving the way that they should, so that because our children do live here. So that's why we should be driving like our children live here. Other than that, again, we have a bunch of events coming up on the horizon, so it's great to have our community events, and our officers will be out there ensuring that they are safe. And one more, which I'm sure that Mr. Raymond's going to bring about this, our Route 54 project that's going on. There's traffic congestion that's going to be going on out there. We will have officers out there minding that people are driving safely through those, and we're going to make sure that our community is safe as possible. Please be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And that's it.
Perfect, Chief, thank you.
Anything that you all may have?
You guys, anyone have any questions?
No, I just think everyone's going to be happy that we're going to have police presence out there on 54. It's a great,
Yes, sir.
great thing.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go to the engineer's report. Mr. Rayner?
Thank you. Good evening.
You're welcome.
Good to see everybody. One action item on the report, then some informational content. The action item is for Route 54 water main replacement phase 2. Part of the project is to seek funding from H2 loans. Part of that process is to get our contracts lined up so that they can put it as part of the funding package. And we're asking for approval of a construction administration inspection services contract for an amount not to exceed $222,000. That number was arrived at the same way we did phase 1, and it's a number to allocate the funding, and then we see where we land later on. We're trying to maximize the funding request to H2 loans for the town.
So motion for the construction admin and inspection services phase 2.
I make a motion.
Metro
I'll
first.
second it.
S. Rodeo second. Discussion on that. That will be funded with, the state is already committed to $2 million in principal forgiveness. They gave us our term sheet for phase 1. I gotta imagine it'll be the same for phase 2. Anything over $2 million in principal forgiveness is 75%, 0% interest, 25% market rate. So we got a really nice deal from the state. Other discussions? So I don't keep babbling. Any? Good? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Matro?
Yes.
R. Rodeo?
Yes.
S. Rodeo?
Yes.
Scipione?
Yes.
And Mayor Fajoni.
Yes, motion carried.
Okay, just as some updates, quick updates for you. For that phase 2, we are following up with the state in the H2 loans process so that we can get that going. We are not allowed, although we're ready to go out to bid, we're not allowed to go out to bid until the state approves the funding package. So that's a critical path item because I know we're on the clock with that. As the chief mentioned, phase 1 is going on. The contractor started that project. There are some traffic control tweaks that are being made. We're having a meeting with DOT tomorrow to go through those. We just ask that everyone obey the speed limit on that stretch of road. The lanes are going to be shifted as construction goes. If you're going south, your left tire is going to be on the rumble strip. It is uncomfortable, but safety first. So please watch your speed on that area. Two other things, if I may. I followed up with the contractor today. The Boyer Avenue hookups should be done for phase 1, should be done by the end of September. Not a problem, we'll get done. It was quote unquote from Mr. Lasassa. Appreciate him giving me a call back today. I say that because we're using that as part of the feasibility study for potentially for phase 2 to make sure that that system that we implemented worked. So I want to give everyone an update there. And then phase 2 of the bike path, you'll see a time extension resolution in your agenda packet. We do that so that we can continue to secure the funding from the DOT. So the DOT gives funding, they award funding to the town for various projects. We have to make sure that we keep the clock going, and we can only do 6-month increments. And this project is especially fun because we're dealing with the DOT, transit, Pinelands, and a variety of others. So we're making slow progress there, mainly with negotiations with outside agencies, but that's the reason why for that time extension. Other than that, if anyone has any questions, I'm here to help.
I have one, Mr. Raymond. Just, I came up at our Parks and Recs meeting. They see in the paper where we've gotten a grant for the lake, and where are we in the process of are we waiting for permits, or is there like?
Sure. So the Lake Park project is, as I've said before, is a multi-phase project.
Yep.
And we're trying to get as much grant funding as possible to avoid taking town money out of the town budget. Some of that money, frankly, doesn't exist at this point. We have to wait for different budget years. So what we have going on now, we have, from a permitting standpoint, the town made the decision early on to get all the permits needed. So the Pinelands permits are needed, so we're not waiting for permits. Where we are now, the Jake's Law Park project, the redo of the park and the additional playground equipment. Playground equipment has been bought. It is in storage at the town. We are working with Green Acres. We have an update to the Rossi that is going into them for approval. Once we get that approval, the contract or the agreement will be signed by the town for that funding on that project. That project's ready to go out to bid. We're gonna bid the playground equipment and the site work in one shot, and then we're gonna bid the upgrade to the bathrooms in a second shot strictly because of the lead time of the bathroom. It's over a year, so we don't wanna complicate the construction management, contracting and bonding, et cetera, by having that long lead time item included in contract number 1. That's Green Acres 2025. 2026 Green Acres is what you just, one of the resolutions you just voted on. That is into final construction documents, so we should look to be going to bid to that sometime later this year. That is for the upgrade to the Kiwanis bandstand, the implementation of the fitness area, bocce courts, some stormwater work out there on the non-baseball side of the park, right? So we did a lot of work on the baseball side, that's on the non-baseball side. And that also includes a rain garden that the town got money from Vinelands Preservation Alliance for. So we're slowly stepping through it. So where are we? Are we gonna be finished after this next project? No, we still have to work on the loop, the track area, right? We still have to work on that and some other upgrades. And there's some other additional Green Acres money that we're looking for, but Green Acres money only goes for recreation. We're kind of running out of recreation improvements there without touching some of the baseball fields and some of the accessory structures for that. So we're looking at probably another 2 years if we can, based on our current funding strategy. If we're just gonna start spending, bond this thing out and go, we have it all permitted and we can do construction documents pretty quickly.
So we'll go through another baseball year, and where the park does get busy during the spring, it'll kind of be the way it is, and it's just gonna have to go out another year or so.
Yeah,
and I get it, I get it.
Yeah, Public Works is doing a good job trying to grade.
Right.
So we got a lot, like the rains we got were just ridiculous, the
Yes,
intensities, right? So it
horrendous.
just hits with erosion, but slowly, incrementally, it's looking good. The new bollards look good. I think it's slowly making progress. It's just now we're in exercise of a little bit of patience.
Okay. That's the answer I was looking for.
Okay.
Any other questions for engineering? Anyone? While we're on the engineering topic, I had it in my report, so we might as well talk about it now. Rich was being very kind when he said we have multiple meetings with the bike path situation. We currently have a bike path to nowhere, it ends, and we're trying to finish the bike path to get us to the lake park. We received a grant that we're applying for an extension for $850,000-ish, correct? 875? 750.
750.
Okay, 750,000 to extend the bike path to the lake park. We were hit about 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, from transit. We were gonna cross by the DAV, which is Veterans Way. We were told they wanted $1.1 million to upgrade the crossing to allow a bike path to cross. We've been fighting with them back and forth. To put it mildly, we received discretionary aid from the state this year in the amount of $900,000 to upgrade the crossing. We came up with a Plan B. Plan B that we came up with was let me back up. Line Street, so everyone knows, will be closed by New Jersey Transit. There's a federal mandate. We have too many crossings and too short a span. So Line Street will be closed. This was going back about 2 years or so that it was decided, but transit will close Line Street. They're looking to make a second closing so they comply with federal standards. We came up with the idea to, instead of crossing the bike path at the DAV, to close the DAV. There's 2 homes back there. Take the 2 homes, there's an easement, create an easement and the bike path, get it out to Grand Street, make a left on Grand, come up 9th, upgrade the crossing at 9th, and then tie in to the bike path closer to Lakeview Drive. We thought it was a reasonable idea. Anyway, transit didn't like that idea. So, here's where we are.
If I may.
Please.
Transit, it didn't that they didn't like the idea. They said, great, but the town's gonna have to pay for the closing of the Veterans Way crossing.
There you go, okay.
Right. That was the killer.
That was the killer. So, we thought they would take the $900,000, upgrade 9th Street, we reconfigure the bike path situation to get it where it has to go. And then since they want to close one of the railroad crossings, an additional one anyway, close the one by the DAV, Veterans Way, and we call it a day. They said we have to pay for it, so we're kind of back to square one. During all these negotiations, they wanted to close Orchard Street as their second closing. We told them it's a non-starter. We think Orchard Street's just too busy of a street. It's not a good idea to close it. So in one of our meetings going back a couple of months ago, we threw out the idea, we'll trade you Orchard Street, leave it open if you close Francis Street. Figuring Francis Street is the least impactful street for our residents to close as a second closing. Fast forward a little bit, we had a conversation with them a few weeks ago. We told them, look, if you don't want to close DAV, then we don't want to give you Francis, and we're not giving you Orchard. So we're kind of in an impasse right now. They want to continue with the project and use the 900,000, reduce the amount of money they need. You take our 900,000 that we received the grant for, fix the DAV crossing, and allow the bike path to continue onto the lake. So I say all this to give you a quick context of what's going on, but we need to figure out what we want to do with Francis. We could hold the hard line and tell them no, which is what I told them over the phone. We can try to negotiate a deal where we close Francis but get a couple other things in turn. What do you guys think?
If I may,
Please,
just add
please.
one piece of information, especially for the paper, if it's going in the paper. When New Jersey Transit assessed the $1.1 million upgrade cost to Veterans Way, we asked for 1.1 million for discretionary aid to the DOT. The DOT is the entity that decided we're only going to give you 900,000. My understanding is if the town says we're going to continue on with the bike path the way we're going, and we're not going to do anything with you, we're not going to close Francis, and we're not closing anything else, my understanding is the the Transit's probably going to say, well, it's 1.1 million to close that. So it would be a $200,000, a potential $200,000 decision. Money's money. Railroad crossings are railroad crossings. They may not be the same thing, but that's probably the calculus, just based on the conversations I've had on the phone, just to get information for everyone so we can make an intelligent, informed decision.
Right. So we can agree to close Francis, if everyone's so inclined. We could tell them the 900,000 is all we have to upgrade the DAV Veterans Way. We could tell them, and I think that they would buy into it. We've been telling them for a long time that the fence between Fairview and Bellevue is a disgrace. We look like the back of some industrial park. We want new fencing. Black, I know we're not going to get the black wrought iron look, but even a black chain link fence is better than the mess they have out there. So we can include that as part of our wants. We could tell them that Francis Street would be closed subject to figuring out if it's even possible with fire safety. I asked the Chief McCree to look into that as well, just as, is it feasible or not? We could throw in there the fact that for the last 8 months, I'm just spitballing here, the last 8 months, the town has carried the water for this Weymouth Road debacle. And we could ask them to create a website, a call line, because quite frankly, it's very disheartening when someone calls you and says, what are you doing with Weymouth Road? And we keep saying, we don't have an answer. So we can throw that into the mix. We could throw anything else you guys want into the mix to negotiate this deal, or we could hold a hard line, knowing that if we continue with the bike path, it's probably going to cost us a couple $100,000 to make good on the crossing at DAV. Did I get it all?
Yeah, I would just add in that they leave us alone with the jack and bore of the water main underneath the Bellevue crossing.
That too, yeah. Yes. That's a phase 2.
It's a phase
So, what do you guys think? Anyone, come on.
I'm trying to figure out
So,
what's wrong.
just before you go, just a little bit of information, in our PWTC meeting, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Rivera said that, and they were talking to the residents out about what their reaction would be. It seemed positive from the closing side of Francis, yes. It seemed like, okay, yeah, that, we think of closing's an inconvenience. It sounded a little bit opposite of that. It almost sounded like that's something that they wanted, but I don't want to just say that flat out, but it's not as much of an inconvenience as I thought it was from the start.
I would want to get a better understanding of the neighborhood attitudes, I guess, to Mr. Raymond's point of, what would be the inconvenience of us closing your railroad crossing here and basically making your street a one-way and a dead end on both sides. That would be, something for me at least that I would want to understand before making sort of a decision here. In regards to Weymouth Road, I think a little bit of clarity there at this point is a non-negotiable. And we've been dragged along for quite a while by NJ Transit on this. We have a debacle of a detour all across Hammonton. It's very uncertain. There's an increased incidence of accidents on First Road here, there, and everywhere. And so I think they owe the residents of the town a little bit of clarity on that particular issue, irrespective of the bike path and the closure of these other locations.
Okay, and I'll throw one other thing to add to Mr. Calderon's comments. If we proceed with this, and I think we were right, we probably should poll all the residents and get their opinion, because ultimately it's their road. It's not our, they have to use it. So that, we could get ourselves a couple weeks until we talk to transit. But the other thing I'd throw in is this. The portion of Francis Street from a Carver Road to the actual crossing. There's two houses on the corner, both houses' driveways enter onto a Carver Road, right? So you don't need that portion of Francis if you close it. Am I right, Chief? So I would also think part of the deal would be give that back to us in its original state. We'll put grass there. Just close that off. You don't need that. Fire apparatus that can get around both houses off of a Carver Road, and let them abandon it and pay for it and cap that. Now you're only having Francis Street as a cul-de-sac from 3rd Street to the railroad. And you're right, it's a one-way, whatever you want to call it. So,
And it was expressly, I was told specifically that if the town agreed to let Francis go, that the transit would take care of all the costs for closing. As opposed to their statement about Veterans Way.
it seems to us that transit's they're a bit under the gun in the sense that they got to get 2 closings. And I think they feel once we gave them Francis, they were dead set on Orchard, and we were dead set against Orchard for all the reasons I stated. So I think they don't like to do this whole negotiation. They're not very good at it, like we are. So I think that, that's why they're willing to pay for Francis, because that, in their mind, that's what they wanted to do after we threw it out to them. But Anthony, what do you think about all this?
Everything you listed, which is obviously concerns to all the residents in Hammonton. I think, to answer your question, you go back to them again and just throw everything out there that you brought up, and let's see what basically sticks on the proverbial wall.
Okay.
I mean, having had a relationship with them for over 30 years, they're not the easiest people to deal with. And I mean, they like to tell you that they're your friendly neighbor through all the towns that they go through, obviously, but when you end up with seeing something like this, that's not the case, and it's not. I'll go on record as saying it. Okay, they're very hard to deal with, and I wouldn't back down at all.
Okay, all right.
What was the difference in the dollars of coming through Veterans Way to a Carver Road for the bike path versus what we talked about going the opposite? I mean, they're very quiet roads. People I would think would enjoy riding their bike along there. All you're going to do is put a 2-foot line with an arrow, end up out at 9th Street. You're trying to get to the Pike, to the park in years ahead. Anyway, you would come out on 9th Street at 8 Carver Road, cross there, and then you'd either go to the lake or you would go to Moss Mill Park. I mean, I won't be here when that happens, but I guess that's the future. Was the dollar amount, why?
So
That's where it came up and why we're talking about it, because of that.
True.
Because that's what the vision was.
Sure. So the dollar amount was not specified. The cost to close, the cost that would be assessed to the town to close Veterans Way. That number was not provided. But that number sounded like it was going to be higher than certainly 200,000. Certainly, it's going to be up there, right? And then we asked, well, why would the town have to pay for that, right? Well, because that crossing is part of a current project that we are the sponsors of, so we would have to pay for that, right? So it's not a cost savings. It's actually an additional cost, right? Most likely, it would be an increased cost to the overall budget. Now, can we do the bike path and do everything that we want to do now for less than $750,000? Maybe. Could that money then go to the added, the added crossing fee? Maybe. Are we extending the project boundary to include the lake park so we can maybe put some of that money there? Yes, we are. So there's, to answer you specifically, Deputy Mayor, they didn't give us a number, but it was almost like we had the right hook with the 1.1. It sounds like the left hook was coming.
And what do you need? Do you need anything? Because you're gonna cross Egg Harbor Road, whether you cross it at 9th Street or whether you cross it there at Veterans Way, you gotta cross Egg Harbor. Is there what happens there? Is there gonna be cost? Is there gonna be? What kind of crossing do you need there?
That's part of the $750,000 project.
Okay.
Whatever signals you would need to cross safely across Lake Harbor, we
Yeah.
would provide those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's outside of their right of way. Am I right, James, with that?
You'd have to cross there and then Park Avenue.
Yeah, two cross.
So it would be basically,
Right.
it would be marked pedestrian and bicycle crossings.
The other thing to keep in mind is the state money, the 750, like Rich said, they're very in a box as to where this bike path can go. I don't think they like the idea of us now, after 4 years of saying we're gonna go down Veterans Way, across the cathedral and into the Lake Park. They don't like the idea of, oh no, we're gonna go down Grand Street, 9th Street. They just, that didn't jive with them. Am I right, James? So I think we're pretty set on where the bike path is gonna go, which is by the DAV, cross over Egg Harbor Road, onto the cathedral's property, which we'll get an easement for, cross Park Avenue and tie into the lake. What Rich said is right. If we can maximize the money there, we're hoping to do some of those improvements that we were not able to do with other funds at the lake. Maybe start paving some parking lots, things of that nature. So that's pretty well set in stone. The up in the air issue here is Francis. I do like the idea of we should go poll all the residents. Let's talk to Mr. McCray, Chief McCray, see if he's okay with fire apparatuses, and then come back here in September and finalize something. If everyone's okay with that.
Knowing what I know from our meetings, Francis Street, that the neighbors along the tracks there would like that being closed off. As long as transit will come in and they'll make the improvements to make that, compliant for fire trucks and, safety equipment, all that. That is the way to go. The only thing, like I said, we should, like you said, push for the fence along Railroad over here to get that replaced.
Okay. Ray, you have any thoughts?
Just a lot of time spent for the 6 people that are still pedaling bikes, I think. But hey, do you allow electric bikes on those paths?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
You good?
Yeah, I'm
All
fine.
right. So we got somewhat of a game plan. We'll regroup in the September meeting, but I just want to update everyone where we are. Okay. You have anything else, engineer? Okay.
Thank you.
Solicitor's report, Mr. Malinsky.
I have no action items, just an informative item. If you remember back in May, I believe it was, or April, we got hit with the matter of Brandon Melendez versus Town of Hammonton. We filed a motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim, and the matter was dismissed against the Town of Hammonton, so that litigation in that short period of time is now resolved. The only other the only other thing I want to say as my report is I want to say happy birthday to my son Michael, who turned 15 today.
There you go.
And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Malinsky. I appreciate it. I'm going to be brief on my report as well. As Mr. Raymond said, we have a meeting tomorrow about the Route 54 project. We're also going to talk with the resident engineers from the DOT because the rain last Thursday. I don't know that Bellevue Avenue was worse, but it certainly wasn't any better. So we're going to pull them aside and have a conversation with them because every time it rains, we're having an issue out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the DOT project that's been ongoing now for the better part of a year. So that's our plan tomorrow to talk with them after we discuss our project. That's all I have for now.
I forgot one thing real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
This year, personal devices for school are banned, so no glasses, phones, watches, and iPads. So they're going to need to be stored. They're going to need to shut off and stored during school hours. So No, well, the glasses now, they have the Google glasses. The Google glasses now. So now you can talk basically with your eyes, your wrist, your feet, everything.
That's
So-
where all the bicycle people went, to that kind of stuff.
Well,
right?
see, what the new bike route, what we could do is, we could put all the phones in line, at night, we could put the lights on, and
They can see where they're going.
so they can
Right.
see where they're going.
All right, nice, okay.
Good thought.
Thank
You're welcome. Public Works report.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Public Works report, we have an update on the airport fuel tank. The installation of the new tank, it's there. It's just there's an issue with the cable on the new tank. The manufacturer is supplying a new one, and it should be complete by the first or second week of September. This is what's caused the delay in the installation. And also the old fuel tank was checked. There are some issues with that we have to discuss regarding some parts that have to be ordered in order to get it up to usage for us to use. That's the 100 lead load tank. The other tank is the Jet A. Town Public Works schedule for September. Bulky waste pickup will be from September 7th through the 11th. Brush pickup will be September 14th through the 18th. Trash pickup for Labor Day holiday. Monday, September 7th, your trash will not be collected. It will be collected on Tuesday, September 8th. So again, no collection on Monday the 7th. Your trash will be collected on Tuesday the 8th. County recycling pickup, September 1st to the 4th, September 14th through the 18th, and September 28th to the 30th. Under town clerk report, we have 5 items for approval. Excuse me. Approval to release the performance bond for Polyville solar improvements in the amount of $306,414.14. Reviewed and approved by RH. Number 2, approval to release the performance bond for Spark Car Wash project in the amount of $91,975.20. This is also reviewed and approved by RH. Approval to release the performance bond for 1100 Bel Air Properties LLC. This was for the Lincoln Avenue project, and this was in the amount of $89,814. Also reviewed and approved by RH. Number 4, accept retirement of Crystal Zerwinski from her position as joint court administrator. This is effective January 1st of 2027, and also accept retirement of Sergeant Jared Baglivo from his position with the police department, and this is also effective January 1st of 2027. Approval is read.
Motion, please.
Motion, Mayor.
Marino, or Rodeo. Discussion on everything. Town, items 1 to 5. Anyone? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon.
Yes.
Marino.
Yes.
Matro.
Yes.
R. Rodeo.
Yes.
S. Rodeo.
Yes.
Scipione.
Yes.
And Mayor Fagioni.
Yes, motion carried.
Approval of bill list.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Was it Scipione, Matra? We good? Questions on the bill list? Anything? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon.
Yes.
Marino.
Yes.
Matro.
Yes.
R. Rodeo.
Yes.
S. Rodeo.
Yes.
Scipione.
Yes.
And Mayor Fagioni.
Yes, motion carried.
Under new business, we have introduction of ordinance 14 of 2026. This is for the Lake Park upgrades, the Green Acres improvement, and this is for $1.2 million, and the town's portion of this is only $150,000. Our matches with grants and other, what am I trying to say, cash that we're getting from,
Other ordinances?
yes,
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
It's getting late.
I got
I'm a
you.
little tired.
All right, motion on that ordinance?
So moved.
Scipione, Matro. Discussion on the ordinance, $600,000 from Green Acres in a grant, $150,000, 0% loan. The balance comes from us and various grants and other ordinances. Any discussion? You guys good, everyone? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon.
Yes.
Marino.
Yes.
Matro.
Yes.
R. Rodeo.
Yes.
S. Rodeo.
Yes.
Scipione.
Yes.
Mayor Fagioni.
Yes, motion carried.
Resolutions, we have Resolution 139. This is a 159 budget addition for the recycling tonnage grant. This is in the amount of $34,991.80. Resolution 140, approval of tax, water, and sewer refunds. Resolution 141, approval of transfer of liquor license, person-to-person, place-to-place transfer. This is for Lynn Luca. This wasn't in pocket, is now coming out of pocket. Resolution 142, authorize Kiwanis Halloween Parade. Resolution 143, authorize Fireman's Christmas Parade. Resolution 144, authorize Hammonton Green Day Festival. Resolution 145, approval of the procession of the St. Michael. Resolution 146, approval of policy for application for tax-exempt veterans. Resolution 147, approval of the Fiesta celebration. Resolution 148, authorize downtown trick-or-treat. Resolution 149, authorize tree lighting event. Resolution 150, approval of an application to NJDCA to designate an opportunity zone. Resolution 151, authorize contract for Phase 2 Route 54 water main replacement project. Resolution 152, request a 6-month time extension for NJDOT pipe pad. Resolution 154, approval to add additional revenue for community green energy plant grant. This is another 159 resolution. This is an addition of $2,500. Approval is read.
Motion for all that are read?
Motion.
R. Rodeo first.
Second.
Shipion second. Discussion? Two quick things. First, we could do the trick-or-treat times in September?
Yes.
All right. I talked to, who did I talk to? I talked to the Hawks. They're going to readjust their game schedule. They're going to push all the games earlier so we can keep the trick-or-treat time the same. We'll adopt the resolution. So we'll keep trick-or-treat on trick-or-treat day and the same time, so we can do that in September. Secondly, on resolution number 150, the application for the Opportunity Zone. This came right from the governor's office. This is Census Tract 108. This is determined by the federal government. We're seeking to create that area, an area of an opportunity zone. What it is 3rd Street. Here's the boundaries. 3rd Street, if everybody could see this. The boundary line going to the west of the town. And then Bellevue Avenue / 206 goes up in a point. That area there, that Census Tract 108, we're going to apply to create that an opportunity zone. What that gives us, we've never been able to do this before. What that gives us, it opens up federal funding for development. Most of the properties is schools, which we can't do any development around anyway, and farms, which would be hard to develop. But what Triad, our grant writer, thought was it puts us a mile from the airport, and that we should be able to grab some additional federal dollars because of the proximity to the airport with the opportunity zone. And also, there is one parcel in the track. It's a large parcel. It's very dilapidated. I don't want to really get too negative here, but it does fall within this census tract that maybe there's an opportunity for someone to kind of rehab that if federal funding becomes available. So that's what that is. Other questions on all of the resolutions? Anyone? Everybody good? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Calderon?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Matro?
Yes.
R. Rodeo?
Yes.
S. Rodeo?
Yes.
Shipion?
Yes.
Mayor Pajoni?
Yes, motion
And that
carried.
concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Second of 2 opportunities for the public to be heard. If you'd like to discuss anything.
Thank you.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Andrea Streitfeld, 317 South 3rd Street, Hammonton, New Jersey. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I apologize, I have no voice left, so bear with me. I last spoke at the May Council meeting about my concern for the Hammonton migrant community. ICE had detained people in this town, taken them away from their families and their livelihoods. I emailed you after that meeting, Mr. Mayor, and you told me you were arranging a meeting with the ICE office in Mount Laurel. You also assured me that you would make a public statement expressing the town's support of our migrant families. Excuse me. At the June council meeting, after more ICE detentions in Hammonton, other people spoke about their concerns for the migrant community. And although we are encouraged with council participation in Hispanic Heritage Month, there was still no town government public support for these families who are in constant fear. There was mention of establishing a committee dedicated to migrant issues and concerns, but there has been no action on this. Although I am not sure meeting with ICE officials will change anything about what is happening here, I have not heard of a said meeting ever taking place. And still, ICE is present in Atlantic County on a regular basis. Just this past Monday, detaining 2 people right on Bellevue Avenue. I will remind you again that Town Council is elected to serve all members of the Hammonton community, and we expect Mayor and Council to do what they say they will do. Are we in Hammonton going to continue to ignore this pressing humanitarian issue? I will leave you with recent words from a highly intelligent, compassionate man, Pope Leo. This is what he said, and I quote, "Defending human life also includes welcoming, protecting, and assisting immigrants whose hopes, sacrifices, and contribution have formed part of the history of this country from the very beginning. Dear migrants, before I say any other word to you, I want to bow before your dignity. You are not numbers or case files. You are people with a family and a home left behind, with dreams that no one has the right to scorn." Those are his words. We must absorb these words and do the right thing for our fellow human beings. I'm hoping that you will respond publicly tonight to these concerns, even though it's late. Responding with inaction is unacceptable. Town government must address this publicly one way or another. The migrant community needs to know where you stand. The people of Hammonton need to know where you stand. Say something and do something for these people. Thank you.
Thank you. So here's what we've done. Mr. Scipione's attending the meetings that are held monthly, right? At Allies and Caring?
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. We're using Allies and Caring. They are right here on 2nd Street, right? As kind of a way to spread the message. Mr. Scipione on his own was able to get a private fund for them, to get them some extra money. So we are doing that. He goes there every couple of weeks and meets with them. And again, they discuss a wide range of topics, but one of the topics they discuss, correct me if I'm wrong.
Be safe, yeah, for the event, it's going to be a safe event. Anthony and I made a video that it will be a safe event for everyone to come out, that they're showing now on their site. And I don't know if we can show it on Channel 9 if there's any advertising. It's a whole nother issue with Channel 9, but they're showing it on their website and everything.
But Allies and Caring is also.
How is it going to be a safe event? How are you going to ensure that?
Well, Chief?
Okay, well, as you know, as a state of New Jersey governor has come up with, and the Attorney General's office, rules of conduct with our local and state law enforcement not cooperating with immigration, all right? We don't, but we can impede what federal law states. We can't supersede. We can't intercede. We can't take someone who is of being deported or being detained by ICE. We can't interfere with that. The one thing I do ask of our community, there are a lot of people that are First Amendment auditors. I applaud you for that, because I think that any law enforcement officer, whether you're a municipal officer, a state officer, a county officer, or a federal officer, you should have a conducting yourself with dignity and with keeping people's rights and life important. And people auditing that, I applaud that. I am all for that. What I am not for, I can tell you in the last instance that you guys brought up about the Bellevue Avenue, there were citizens, I don't know whether of our community, the county, state of New Jersey, that were following and chasing behind vehicles. Now, this becomes dangerous, because I can tell you what happened. The ICE officers that had the people detained were trying to get away from that vehicle following them because they don't know what's going to happen. I mean, imagine if I'm a law enforcement officer and you know I'm in a marked unit or a unit with lights. You just saw me get in there with a gun, with body armor, and you're chasing me. that would kind of put me at a heightened concern for what's going on. Well, they chased this federal officer down a one-way street the wrong way, which puts our community at peril. All right, I'm all for making sure that life is being preserved, dignity is being preserved, and things are done right. I can tell you that I spoke with a local business owner who is an agricultural business owner that had ICE respond to their business, and there were people with questionable documentation. And ICE just went, that's not the person we're looking for. You have a great day. Okay, they're not in our community with a giant seine net trying to pick up anything or any person that looks like they don't belong in our community. There are a lot of people that belong in our community. Okay, a lot of Hispanic people that have been in our community for multi-generations. And yes, I do get concerned about when people come in, but what's happening is instead of us auditing and making sure that they're doing things the way that they should, we become kind of antagonistic and making it more of a heightened problem. All right, I know that our mayor and council can't take a stand and sit there and say, we're not going to allow ICE to come into our town of Hammonton. We're not allowed to do that. We can't do that.
That's not what we're asking. I think we're asking for support. So my community needs to know.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have, Mr. Strait, we're going to have organizations also at that event, and the name, I'm sorry, I can't remember, that will be there. Do you remember? Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't remember that, but. Pardon me?
Can you come up to the mic so they can hear you?
Yeah, please.
No,
Come up to the mic and
they're gonna be there.
So they're going to hear you.
They're gonna be.
Can you come to the mic?
And just state your name and address for the record too, please.
Yes, sir. Rachel Sutphin, 326 Bellevue, the Reverend Rachel Sutphin. My question was back to the original question about the safety of the events. Are you asking El Pueblo Unido to provide that safety instead of the police department?
No. They will be there, though.
They will be there as a table, yes.
For information purposes. Right. Right. I mean, we can't legally, you know, if they come in there, we can't legally.
Mr. Schipione, I was just questioning a comment that you made, which said we are ensuring their safety.
I'm sorry, can you have to come, because people at home have to hear you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, so I just want to jump in a second here because I want to make sure we're clear as well. Again, with the Allies in Caring, the resources that we have, we've given them to them contact information. We thought that was a good start. In addition to that, Mr. Calderon has a social services committee. It's a large committee that we formed this year to cover all social issues throughout the town as best we can cover them. So
Meeting Thursday night, here, 6 o'clock.
Okay, so it's not that we're not doing work, we're trying to do work in the most efficient way that we can. So again, one way is through helping us, having Allies in Caring help us. One way is to have this event. One way is to have the Social Services Committee. That's what we're doing. To answer, Ms. Strayford, your question directly.
I don't know if that really answered my question.
Okay.
I needed someone to speak unless I got there, so.
I mean, that's just the rule of conduct
Right.
of meeting, so.
It's just tough. It's a tough situation. I don't know.
I don't think we got any answers for all the questions that I asked you. It's frustrating. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and I understand that there is not much that you can do. But the things that, and I'm glad you have said this publicly now, because at least there's something public that is being said that wasn't said since May when we brought it up. So was there ever a meeting with ICE? What did you think you were going to accomplish there?
There was no meeting with ICE. The chief reached out to him twice. We'll reach out to him again. What I thought, or what I'm trying to accomplish, is have a discussion with him. Here's our community. What's your ICE? What is your idea? What is your plan here? Give us something so we can go back to the residents with. That's really, that's what I wanted.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
it.
well, this
I
is
know
the
I'm
first
not
time
gonna,
we've really clarified
I'm not
that.
delusional to say I'm gonna go in there and make a change.
No,
But I'd
of
like to
course
go
not.
in there and have an understanding to come back and say, we spoke to them, and here's what they said. That was my goal. Still is my goal, and we will reach out to them again.
Chief, when you reached out to them, did you get any response?
They said that they were going to set up an appointment where we could sit and talk with them, and that's never come to fruition.
Do you think it will come to fruition?
I can't opine on whether it will or won't. I can tell you that the communication between ICE and
Chief, can you
municipal
stand up,
governments.
please? Can you-
Yes, I'm sorry. The
Here we go.
cooperation between communication of the federal
Level.
immigration enforcement officers and municipalities has diminished down to almost nothing. They don't tell us when they're coming to our community. They don't tell us when they've picked someone up. They don't tell us when they're leaving our community. So it's, and I don't know whether that's because of instances that have happened other places in the state of New Jersey and other states where they've actually erupted into violence. I don't know if that's the reason why they're not communicating with us.
Well, I'm just going to end this because it's very late and I want to get home too. I just want to end this with the thought that we need to be very mindful of these people who live here, who can contribute to our town and have done so for many, many years. And yes, we are supporting the Hispanic Heritage Month and the Heritage Day, which I'm also a volunteer for. But we have to go do better than that. These people are scared and they want to know that they can be here. So that's all I'm saying.
We
and
understand.
I'm glad this was on public record. So thank
Absolutely.
you, finally.
Okay. Anyone else, public comment on any item? Anyone in the audience? We're good? Anyone else from up here?
Mayor, I have a couple of things, but we're going to go right through this.
Okay.
Can you, when we passed the budget this year, one of the things we did was we had a formula there as for restarting the roads program. I think you and I spoke about it a couple of times. Can you just basically let the public know where we're at with that?
Yeah, sure. So we have a bond ordinance that we adopted June. I think it was June or July. We put $300,000. It's a small number for this year, but we're going to start in the fall time doing some emergency repairs on various roads. Myself, Mr. Rodeo, Mr. Matro, we're working with Mr. Rivera from Public Works to do that.
All right, and then
And I just want to say one other thing, I'm sorry.
Good.
In order to maximize our dollars, we're going to use our forces to do the demo, and then we're going to bring an outside contractor in to do the repairs.
Okay, and then the second thing was there was an accident over here at Grape in Central, and apparently there's been some complaints about speeding along there. The schools are going to open up again. We need to be cognizant of what's going on. Now, Central Avenue, I get it, it is a county road, so our hands are kind of tied, but I think it would be appropriate if we sent a letter to the county and seeing about possibly putting a four-way stop at that intersection. They're probably going to shoot us down, so my other suggestion would be Grape Street, what we can do is put bigger stop signs up with red lights around them, like you see at some intersections, that's kind of in your face when you pull up there and say, listen, you need to be paying attention to what's going on. So I've gotten, like I said, several complaints. I don't know where the chief is at with that, if he's had anything happen recently other than this accident that just happened here. So I'd like us to look into that.
All right, so I received a request, the same request, trying to put a four-way at Central and Grape. We could put the request in. We got a better chance with the stop sign and the red lights or a flashing light on Grape than we do, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, I don't think the county will put a four-way stop on Central and Grape. I also got a request, and I spoke to the chief about it, about putting a four-way stop at 14th and Chew. I don't think that's going to happen either. I don't. The county is not going to put in multiple stop signs in close proximity to each other. 14th, 13th is already a stop sign. So we may have a better way with the flashing light on Grape. That's more realistic than us trying to get a four-way stop there.
Yeah, I just figure out, let me put it out there
Okay.
and see what everybody up
Absolutely.
here thinks about it.
Yeah, we can
See if
certainly.
move forward with this.
We could talk with Scott and see if we can get some sort of flashing beacon or something to notify people on Grape that it's a stop, for
Yeah,
sure.
basically what it is, it's a larger stop sign, and the red lights go around the outline of the stop sign, and they're all LED lights, and they're powered by solar panels, and they're on basically 24/7.
Okay, we can get something. We'll deal with that at Public Works. All right.
Thank you.
Anything
Didn't we used to have them on Grape Street, like halfway up by Bobby Batista's house? There used to be, when they first put them in, there, three-way stop.
They were for him, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it at Public Works. Anybody else up here? Anyone? All right, the only other thing I'll say is, as the chief said, school starts September 1st. Please watch out for the kiddos. Everybody's going back to school. Got a lot of kids walking around, so just, going to the bus, so just please watch out for them. And that wraps up the meeting for tonight. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Calderon first, Maitre second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right, we're done. Thank you very much.
Who was second?